I realized the damage that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Damage as in like
in the
relationship damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I talk to a lot of guys, and there's kind of like this whole argument about like having a strong work ethic versus being a workaholic. There is a fine line there. But what I found was, I discovered before I lost my wife and my kids and half my crap, that was going to happen if I didn't change.
Oh yeah.
I was running into people, and I've got a much longer story that kind of unwraps the whole thing. But basically, I was able to see through other people's experiences the damage that it was doing.
Mm-hmm.
The damage that it was doing to kids who were now grown up, telling me stories about how they didn't have a dad and what that caused psychologically, what caused from a self-esteem and self-worth perspective. And thankfully, I learned from other people's experiences instead of having to go through that tragedy myself, that if I didn't change, I was really going to be screwing up my entire life and my life and my kids. And so that was kind of like the big change for me. But what it looked like as a recovering workaholic was basically just making very, very conscious choices to not work crazy hours.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to a new episode of A Whole New World, where we're here to talk about how to promote that positive work-life balance. I know that's a little bit of a new intro for us today, but that came from our episode 23, Quitting Workaholism with Mr. Brad White. Plenty of good tips there, and hope to continue that for you guys here today. So, but without any further ado, our dad joke for the day is, how do roofers party? They raise the roof! What? Oh, that was the wrong button. So, wait. There. Nope. Still not it. There we go. As I learned to use buttons for the first time. So, for those of you out there, I believe most of us are in search of that fabled perfect work-life balance. And the thing is, y'all, that work-life balance varies depending upon what stage of life you're in, where you're at. If I'm single, I'm able to stay later at work than if I have a family. So it's one thing to keep in mind as I share some tips with you guys. Some from the episode 23, not all of them, but so hopefully you guys can find one thing to choose so that you can focus on to help you develop that better work-life balance. So now, why do we want that work-life balance? And that's just because it helps promote better health. You're going to be less stressed out, which means that your immune system's going to be up and running better. You'll have better personal and professional relationships, and you're just going to have that overall better feeling of accomplishment when you're using your time more wisely. So, first tip for the day is to let go of perfectionism. I have a friend who says it's better to have it done than not done at all. And it's very easy for us to get into that habit of we want to be perfect, we want everything right the first time. But here's the sad fact is that most of the time we're not going to be able to do that. So we got to put our effort into it as best we can and get it done so that we can meet our deadline and turn it in, wash our hands of it, so we can move on to the next thing. We cannot spend as much time because when you sit there and you just fawn's the wrong word, but when you sit there and you are stressed out, you're constantly worried about things, you're actually going to be less productive. Next tip for you is to just unplug, guys. Once you leave work, just unplug. I know some of you are like, man, that's hard. Again, this might not be the best one for you if that's your job. But maybe take a weekend and say, listen, y'all, I'm going off the grid, or vacation, I'm going off the grid. Just so nobody can get you. We all need that time to recharge, and if work's constantly reaching out to you, you're not going to get that peace of mind. You're not going to get that you time. And so make sure that you're taking care of yourself by just taking that time. Get unplugged from work, y'all. I know myself, I don't get work emails at home. Again, I'm able to do that with my job. Some of you are sitting there like, what do you... no, sir. But, again, listen to some of these tips and find something that hopefully will ring true for you. Our third tip for the day is to just make time for you. Do some kind of physical activity. Go out, ride your bike, or go do a class at the gym. Do some yoga. Get stretchy. All right? But you need to schedule a block of time that's just for you. If you want to read a book, read a book. Now, research has shown that when you do physical activities, that overall, obviously is going to have better health effects for you, but just making sure that you have that peace of mind, that time for you to do what you want is very important. Because we all, like I said earlier, we all need that recharge time. We all need that time to feel like I had that time for me. I got to do something that I really enjoyed. Because some days we don't have that time where we're like, wow, I didn't get to do anything fun today. So make sure that you have a little bit of fun every day. Get that time for yourself. Next tip is to limit those time-wasting activities. Y'all, I love Facebook just as much as you do, but when you're at work, use that time, get your work done. Be on Facebook when you get home. Put that in your me time section. But, yeah, that little FaceTime app it doesn't lie, and it's very harsh sometimes. I did not like what I saw when I looked at it. It was like over 3 hours a day. I was like, well, got to cut that down. But I have noticed that it is a lot easier for me, or I am a whole lot more productive. My apologies. So, also, learn to say no, guys. You don't have to do everything under the sun. You're at work, you have a team most likely of people that you work with that you guys can share the load. You can't take on everything, they can't take on everything. It's just time to be a team and work together, get things done. Sometimes that might mean, like, I normally do this, but hey, I'm really busy, I'm swamped right now. Can you help me out, take this on today, or take this on this week until I get this project done? Y'all, it's just finding those little times in the day, finding those little snacks, I'm hungry, those little tricks throughout the day to